What up, YouTube? This is JR Juggernaut 1. It's going to be my deck of the month for February and March, I guess. I'm going to be doing the deck I ran at my locals on Monday. Now that I'm back home, just kind of spending some time playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Just for the hell of it. I basically took apart Debris Chaos because I think in this format, it's just, like currently in the format's current state, it's just not going to work. And I found this build to be more consistent, or I should say this deck to be more consistent in its Chaos Plants. I really liked it, had a lot of fun with it, made some changes right after the event was over, but, you know, I'll get to those changes as I go through it. But otherwise, yeah, it's a good deck. I'm going to hopefully run this at Regionals on Saturday in Edison. It's going to be crazy there, but you know what? I want my invite, so I'm willing to make that sacrifice, I suppose. But yeah, here we go. I'm going to go through the main and extra deck. I'm not really going to go into the side deck since it's not really complete. I kind of threw one together on Monday. It had some of the right cards in it, but for the most part it was thrown together. We'll start with 3 Debris Dragons. Again, this is Chaos Plants. Like in any other plant deck, you would need to run 3 Debris because it's just that broken. Gathers up your Danny, your Lone Fire, well, you know, you'll see all the targets as I go through it, but yeah, really good card. Double Raikou. In this kind of game format right now, it's very fast. Raikou's very good for milling and destroying, but at the same time, you don't really need to run 3 because you're not going to be setting it as much as you would be in other decks. Pretty much same reasoning I had for only having 2 in my Debris Chaos deck. Instead of a 3rd Raikou, I have 1 Lila because it breaks back row, and it's a nice beater, and it also kind of helps mill, so that's great. So that's kind of with the Debris. So the plant engine, we have double Lone Fire. Essential in this deck, really speeds it up, really just lets you make some big plays. Overall, amazing card. Double Dandelion, you know, broken card, obvious why it's going to 1. With Lone Fire, you can go first turn Shooting Star, kind of a nice play you can go for, really nice. And the tuners, the main tuners that you use with this thing, Glow Bulb and Spore. I'm running Spore instead of Plague because Plague requires you to top a card in your deck, and Spore does give you some more versatility because you can make it a level 2 tuner, level 4, or with your Mystic Tomato, level 5. Mystic Tomato isn't so necessary, but it is a dark. It does let you get some nice searches, and overall, I just think it just really works in this deck for an extra target, even though you don't really need it. And then with Mystic Tomato, you can search for Sangan, which is really good because it can search for almost anything in this deck. Sangan is just amazing. You have to run it. You can just abuse the hell out of it in a way. And your Spirit Reaper, which is just wall. It just walls everything. You're going to side it out against certain matchups, again, like Black Wings and GBs, but at the same time, against most other decks, it wrecks them. And only 1 Caius because, honestly, you know, I did look at the Plant Synchro deck that topped at YCS Dallas, and he wasn't running any Caiuses, and I didn't like that at all. So, I mean, again, I didn't net deck this guy, but I'm just saying, like, when I was curious to see his build, and I was, like, thinking to myself, you know, 2 Caius might be too many, but I feel like you gotta run at least 1. Double Chaos Sorcerer. Again, one of the major cards of the deck. This card is absolutely nuts. If your graveyard fills up enough, it's always going to be alive. Really good. Double Veiler. May cut this down to 1, but I really like it. It's just, it can stop a lot of different decks in their tracks, and quite frankly, I never found it to be. There was only 1 match I had where I found Veiler to be dead, and that was against, what was it? Oh yeah, it was against Dimensional Yados deck. But otherwise, it's just really good. You can find use for it against almost anything. Card Trooper. Mills, destroys. I really don't need to explain this card. Now we go on to the spells. Double Pot of Avarice. I was running 3 originally, but I did find it to be a bit of a dead draw at times. I do like the extra recycling power, but at the same time, I'm going to try and take my friend's advice and see if 2 does work better than 3. Double Book of Moon. Book of Moon, too good not to run in this deck. It really is. It's just a very good card. I don't understand. Like, you just need that kind of protection that this card gives you, you know, just as an extra backup. Double MST. Wasn't running this originally, but I decided to put him in because there's a lot of decks it really helps against. I don't remember exactly what I took out for it, but yeah. Very good. Oh, I think I had like 5 cards. Hold on one sec. I think I had like a few cards I decided to take out for it. Oh yeah, I took out a second Pot of Avarice, one of the Pot of Avarices, and something else I don't remember. But yeah, really good. Trunade, you know, I'm just gonna go through the remainder of the spells. These were all like in there from the beginning. 1 for 1, Cold Wave, Reborn, Charge, Foolish, and Dark Hole. Pretty straightforward. Now for the traps. Only 7 in here. There was originally 8. There was a Raigeki break in here, but I decided to take it out in favor of another card. I decided to take it out and leave the other card that I had in here. I'll explain. First we have Limit Reverse and Call the Haunted, kind of the explosive cards. These cards are both very good because of you know, reviving a monster can set off very big plays for you. But what I also like about this card, and this is the funny thing, is that it's, in a way, can be good against DD Crow. I was playing a match against this guy who was running Formula Monarchs, and I summoned a Breed Dragon, tried to target my Dandelion. He changed DD Crow. I chain Call the Haunted to it, so Dandelion hits the field first. And you guys would know, you guys probably know that already, that if you try to revive something in response to something like DD Crow or Soul Release, it still works because the monster will hit the field before the card comes into effect. So he was just like, ugh. But yeah, you gotta use these cards just because even if your opponent's gonna run a lot of removal, you could still play it pretty conservatively and just wait for the right opportunity. Next, your kind of more aggressive traps that stop your opponent. Phoenix Wind Blast, which is very good, especially if you can discard something like Dandelion, Spore, Glow Bulb, etc. And you gotta just be careful though. You gotta know what you should be targeting and such. 1 Torrential. Torrential is a very big plus in this deck. You gotta be careful in terms of when you choose to use it, just like with Wing Blast, but for the most part, it's just very good. Especially since it doesn't target. And Mirror Force, because Mirror Force is just awesome. I remember my opponent in one of my matches, he overextended playing Chaos Sorcerer while he had Titanial on the field and I had no monsters. I didn't understand that. He was trying to hit me for a lot of damage, but it backfired so much for him. And the last 2 traps, first one, kind of obvious, Solemn Warning. Solemn Warning, I only have 1, but in this deck you only really need 1 because you don't want to be paying that many life points. Having 1 Solemn Warning is very good though. It's just when you have it, you've got to really be conscious of what you're going to use it on and really think about it, just like with all your other traps. You just got to really think before you make these kinds of decisions. And last but not least, Solemn Judgment, because you just need this thing because your opponent could have that 1 card that stops you that could prevent you from winning the game. You need to have this card so that you can at least get past that in that type of situation. So yeah, that's the deck, the main deck. Let's move to the extra deck. We have Double Formula Synchron. There are like rare occasions where I can synchro for more than 1 of these guys. I'm sorry, for more than 2, but 2 is just the right number. Most of the time you're not going to really, like, pretty much almost all the time you're not going to go for more than 2. 1 Armory Arm, you know, standard level 4, pretty simple. Android and Catastor, because there are plenty of times where I'll end up going for both of these. They're just both very good cards. Iron Chain, as much as I hate this card, as I've said, you have to run it, and I did actually play it a few times, which bugs me and helps me, it makes me happy. Goyo and Brionic. You know, Goyo's going to be banned. Not really sure what I'm going to replace it with, but I'm going to have to think of something. Double Black Rose. Even though you're running 3 Debris, I don't like triple Black Rose. I really don't. I've never been in a situation where I've been able to go for 3 or I've needed to go for 3. I mean, usually, besides you're not, I was going to go for Black Rose with Debris Dragon, so there you go. 1 Stardust. May bump this up to 2, not sure, but it's probably going to stay at 1, but yeah, just I was thinking about it. And Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon is busted. It's really good card. It's been shooting up to like $30 for good reason, people. Colossal Fighter, don't use it that often, but it is a very good card in certain matchups. So it's good to have. Shooting Star, obviously, because you run the formulas, you run the Stardust, and there are a few easy combos to getting this guy out immediately. And 1 Chimera Tech, because you do have Cyber Dragons in the side deck. And so it's definitely good. Alright, so there's the main and extra deck. That's the current build right now. I'll hopefully have a regional report when I get back. I'll have, like, if I'm unable to make the report before before I go back to school the following day, then I'll just like kind of make a quick report. I'll write down the list and such, and just kind of explain it to you guys, you know. But hopefully I'll be able to do that before I leave, depending on how late the regional goes, because last time I didn't get back till like 1 a.m., so I'm hoping that's not the same case this time. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.